welcome back to Scrap Coffee. So in this video we are going to construct page tile number 2 for the Peekaboo Baby Girl first year project. Page tile number 2 is this page with the offset window flaps, I don't know, large acetate pocket here on the inside, and here I didn't place any magnets here yet. So the slide here, it's not functioning very well right now because it's not decorated yet, but that's okay. Side pocket here, stack pocket, and the belly band on the back. That's all the elements on there. Yeah, so this is what we will be making in this video. I've prepared the pieces, and our base page is actually exactly the same as page tile number 1. So you have your pieces A, B and C, and with A and B I'm going to make a pocket page. So I'm not going too much into detail because it's exactly the same. What I do want to tell you, I didn't say it in the first video, but of course all the acetate or Duralar pieces, you can replace them for either cardstock or leave them out. So it's not so that you are not able to make the project if you don't have that material or you don't think you can make it work. Remember, for piece C, the tape goes on the bumpy side. I do try to put that in the cutting guide, if that's because my basic rule is to place it on the dented side, but if that is different, then I will try to put it in the cutting guide. And also, since your base page is exactly the same as page tile number 1, that also means that you can interchange the elements between the pages and create your own page tile. So on the front of the base page, piece A, so we have our pocket page and then our gusset page on the back. We are going to work with our piece N and piece O. And I'm going to taper both ½ inches from both pieces. So actually both ½ inches. And I'm going to fold and burnish the score line. Let's get that out of the way for a second. Piece N, we are just going to leave it as it is. In piece O, I'm going to make an angle, but I want you to know that if you don't like the angled look, or you don't want to use the acetate on there, then you can just leave it exactly just like this. That would be great as well. But I'm going to make the angle, and in order to make the angle, what I did on piece O is I've measured 1 3/4 from the cut edge. My folded side is here on my right hand side, and then on the top corner I've measured 1 3/4 inwards so that I can make the cut there. And then we need our Duralar piece, our acetate number 4 piece. And I'm going to attach that on here. Let me see, I'm going to line up, yeah, wasn't sure. We are going to line up the corner. The bottom corner is going to line up with the corner of the cardstock, line up your short sides, and then you would have a nice overhang. So again, let me see where I put them. I'm going to use my magnets because that's just very helpful for me. And I'm going to use some 1/4 inch tape. And let me mark a little bit to where the acetate is going to be. Well, this is, I keep saying acetate, forgive me for that, but I'm using the 0.005 Duralar for every clear sheet of plastic you see in this album. So I'm just marking to where the Duralar is going to be, so I don't place my tape too low. And I'm just going to place it on 4 sides. I'm staying a little bit away from that pencil line. I just want to make sure that I don't have any tape overhanging or sticking out underneath the acetate lid once I've attached it. Go close to the cut edge here, because what I'm going to do later on is I'm just going to use or a strip of white or a strip of pattern paper to hide that there, but I'm not going to place a whole piece on top of this. I don't think it's completely necessary. So I'm going to line this up with the grid on my work surface, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my right hand side here, and I'm going to make sure that the pointy corner there is lining up with one of the lines there. And once I have it how I like it, I'm going to use my magnets, and of course it shifts when I do that. Then I'm going to carefully peel off the tape backing. And I say carefully because I want to have this piece in place. Get my acetate piece in here. And now comes the hard part, because we are going to, maybe I should turn it around so I can see it a little bit better. Yep. Try to follow the line on my grid, and then hopefully I should line up there as well, and I do. So yeah, it's really convenient if you can use the grid on your work surface for things like this. And otherwise it's just a matter of taking your time, but also don't be too hard on yourself. You could also cut it a little bit larger and then cut it down once you've stuck it down, you know, so maybe it's a little bit easier. So then we are going to attach this on top of piece A of our base page, and I'm going to attach piece O first on the cut edge here. I can line up the edges there. So remove the tape backing. Just lining it up, and it can be a little bit hard to see with all the different layers of cardstock there already. Sorry if my head is in the camera. There we go, holding it in place. And now for this one, I'm going to line it up where I have maybe not even 1/16 of an inch of a gap between my acetate and my end piece, and that will mean that I have about 1/8 of an inch spacing there, and that's what you want. You want to have that gap. So this can be a little bit tricky again. Like I said, it's not always easy, but I'm just placing my bone folder on there to give it a little bit of weight. So it's nice and flat. Then I'm lining up my piece N here on the bottom. And try to work my way up. And a little gap in between your pieces, that's what you're looking for. There we go. So then I have the large pocket here. I'm going to make that out of the acetate again. It's your acetate number 5 piece. I've already scored this piece, and I always have to think with the tape placement. It's a little bit confusing because you think you're going to do it like this, but we are going to go the other way. So my tape is going here on the inside right now when I've scored it, and then close to the cut edge, and that can be a little tricky to get it there. And you can use wet glue on this, by the way, but I'm just a little bit scared with wet glue that I make a mess. There we go. And then we are going to miter those corners. And again, I'm doing that with a slight angle so that I can stick those flaps on top of each other, especially with these pieces, with this material. That's really helpful. I find it really helpful. Where's my bone folder? There. Let's carefully fold back on these flaps and burnish that. So in the page tile number 1 video, I did give a little bit more information on scoring and folding on this material. So if you haven't seen the video yet, but you want to have a little bit more detailed information, you can find it in that video. Okay, almost there. And this is a large pocket, so yeah, don't rush yourself, take your time. Yeah, I'm going to get that removed. And then open up these flaps, and it should fit in between the score lines. Should have a little bit of space on both sides of your score line, between the pocket and the score line. So again, I'm just taking it carefully here. Okay, yeah, these are things that I also need to concentrate a little bit, so don't try to pull your material too much in a direction. because that will, it's going to bend your cardstock. It's stronger than your cardstock, so it's going to make your cardstock do all crazy stuff. So just take your time on the placement and don't pull it too much in a direction to correct it. So now we can just close this and this side is done. Then we are going to make our booklet, and again the base of the booklet is exactly the same base as your page tile number 1. So you have your pieces F and piece G. Piece F has a score line, tape on the dented side, taper that 1/2 inch flap, fold towards that bumpy side, and we are going to create a booklet out of these two pieces here. I need to reorganize a little bit because we are not working with the base page at this moment. First, let's do piece H. My tape is on the dented side. I am going to taper again. So this is also the same as in page tile number 1. That's why my letters are the same. And just like with page tile number 1, I'm going to center this piece. So I will have about 1/2 inch on top and bottom on the cut edge. So not on the folded edge, but on the cut edge. So I'm going to make a little tick mark. You can also eyeball it, and it's really slightly tiny tick mark, just to guide me in where to place this flap here. So I'm lining it up with that cut edge, and I'm looking for my pencil mark there. And there. And press it down. So this is the base of the booklet. And for one page I did attach it on this side, but I really didn't like the look. So that's why I am attaching it on top. And now we are going to make that sliding elements. So we are going to need several pieces for it. Piece P, Q and R, and an acetate piece. I'm going to start with piece P. It's always hard for me, like piece P. One score line tape is on the dented side between the cut edge and the score line. You don't have to taper these flaps, but I don't know, I just do it. I don't know. Sometimes I regret it if I don't do it, and so I just do it. Then what I did is I've made a tick mark 1/4 inch from the cut edge. That's on my left hand side here. 1/4 inch there. And also on the bottom, and then I've drawn a line 1/8 inch from the cut edge on top and bottom, all the way up to the score line, and angle that a little bit. And we are going to cut out that little piece there. So let's get a knife. You can do it with your paper trimmer as well, but I'm just doing it with my ruler and my knife. I'm going to line up the ruler with that pencil mark. And if you're off a little bit, you know, I'm off a little bit. It's not a big deal. So that's out. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, just there I'm going to cut straight, and here I'm cutting it at an angle on the side of the score line. So this is what we cut out. You can throw that away, and this is how our piece looks like right now. And we can fold and burnish the score line. And we might feel like we need to clean this up a little bit more, and we can do that. But the truth is, it's not going to look completely pretty, so I don't mind it too much. It's fine. Okay, this piece is prepared. I'm going to put it to the side. Piece Q, we do nothing to it, we put it to the side. Piece R is going to form a pocket, so you have your score lines on 3 sides. Tape on the dented side between the cut edge and the score line. You are going to miter the corner in any technique you prefer to use. And on the bumpy side of this piece, I'm going to draw a frame front. I already did it actually to save some time. I draw a 5/8 inch frame, so that means that on the 3 sides with your score line, you are going to draw your line 1 1/8 of an inch from your cut edge on the 3 sides. And on the side that doesn't have a score line, you're going to draw your line 5/8 of an inch from the cut edge. And we are going to cut out that frame. And I'm going to mark the corners because I really learned that that helps for a nice clean corner. And you're just going to use your ruler and knife or your paper trimmer. You are going to cut from intersection to intersection. There we go. And then we need our piece of acetate, and that's acetate number 6, I believe. Yeah, that will fit right on there. So I'm going to place some tape, and I'm going to use 1/4 inch tape for that around the perimeter of your, I don't know where that's coming from, but around the perimeter of your acetate, Duralar, whatever product it is that you're using. So we can remove that tape backing and just place it on there, making sure no tape is overhanging on the inside of the frame and you stay in between your score lines. But with this measurement, that should not be any problem at all. And I burnish, but I only burnish on the tape. And then this is our good side. So now we can fold and burnish the score lines of the pocket. And then get our piece Q back in. I'm just turning it around so I don't have that letter under my frame. And we should be able to place this pocket on our piece Q and line up all 4 sides. So let's check if that's right. What I'm telling you is, so now we can stick that down. So just, yeah, try to line up your sides as good as you can. I'm just going to start here on the bottom corner. Line the edge. I'm not sticking anything down too hard yet, but I think I'm good. So let's go there, and then the final one. Oh, and you could taper this 1/2 inch here as well. I didn't do it on the other one, I'm too late. I'm just going to leave it there, but I am doing it here. No, you should not do it. I'm sorry, don't do it. Don't taper that 1/2 inch. It's not a big deal that I did now, but it's better to not do it. You will see later on why. Okay, so now this pocket, we want it to go over our piece cube, but we might have to cut it down a little bit. And I do. So I just cut down slightly on that 1/4 inch part. Try it again. I think I need to cut it down a little bit more. Don't do too much at once. Just a little hair more. I'm being very, very careful with this. I'd rather cut 3 or 4 times than cut once and it's too much. Let's see, maybe if we help it a little bit. This is still a little too hard. Yeah, this is it. This is it. It's not completely easy, but it will work. It's going over there. And what I will also do is I'm going to get some printer paper that I'm going to cut a little smaller than the pocket, and I'm going to place it in here over my construction strips so you don't bump up to the construction strips all the time. So this is going to work now. So, but now I can pull it out pretty easy. So what I'm going to do, and I didn't prepare it, but I will do it quickly, is I'm going to cut 4 strips of 1/2 inch by 1 inch. And you don't have to be completely exact, but there we go. I'm going to get my scoreboard quickly and score all those pieces on the 1 inch side at 1/2 inch. Fold them double, glue them together on the one piece, not the pieces together, but I mean, I folded this one and I'm going to stick it down on top of each other. These are going to form little bumpers, so your P-piece is not coming out as easily. You're still able to get it out, so you can place your photo or your pattern paper, but you have to work a little bit harder to get it out. There we go, this is the scrap piece. Then we get our pocket in and we are going to place these pieces right here. One on the pocket side and one on the other side, and you do that on top and bottom, and that's why you don't really have to taper that 1/2 inch. It helps in forming that bumper actually. So I'm trying to put it, I'm placing it with the folded edge where that's what we can see. I think that gives the best look. It's not going to look pretty, but and really try to get it in that corner. Okay, then one last check that I want to do. Now it's a little bit more challenging to get it in there again. Is I'm going to check if I like how this is going towards the end here, but I do like it. I didn't give it a gusset. I did it in at first hand I did, but I then felt like I didn't really need it. So just to reduce the bulk in the page, I didn't give this flap a gusset. Now this will be attached on your booklet, piece H, folded edge of piece H, and we are going to attach it right there. And again, I'm going to center that as good as I can. So let me see what is the amount of space that we have. And you know, I just don't like how that looks there. So what I'm going to do here is where I told you to cut at an angle. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything about it. Maybe we can just angle it towards that. I think it will look better. You see, I just evened it out there. It's not going to make any difference, but it looks better. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I hope you understand what I did there. Okay, so I was going to measure the amount of space that I had there. Is it 1 inch and 1 inch? Yeah, about a little bit more because of that 1/8 inch there. So eyeballing my pencil mark a little bit. Let's remove the tape backing part. So here again. It's a little bit hard to see for me like this. And I do need to erase my pencil marks there, but that will come. So like I said, once your pattern paper is on here, or your printed paper is in there, because now I'm really bumping up to that construction strip, but that will make it a lot better. I think I'm just going to leave it now, not mess too much with it. Yes, so this booklet can go into the base page, but I'm going to, oh no, we have to make our stack pocket on the inside, of course. So for that we have piece S to start with, And that's going on top of piece H, right? Yeah, on top of piece H. So on the inside of this, we have our pocket. So score lines on 3 sides again, tape on the dented side, miter your corner. And fold and burnish on your score lines. Placing this to the side for a second because we are going to make a cut in this pocket. At least I'm going to make a cut to angle it. So for the angle in this pocket, my folded edge is on my left hand side. My ½ inches are folded inwards and I've measured 1 1/4 towards the on the top edge. Here I made a pencil mark and that's where I'm going to start my angle. 1 1/4. There we go. So now we can attach this, like I said. Open this piece up, open this up. We are on the inside of piece H and I'm going to attach it here. But again, I want to make sure that I stay away about 1/8 of an inch from the score line of your flap so it can close properly. I'm going to start on that side. It is a little bit bulky now underneath here, so that makes it a little bit more difficult to work. Placing it a little bit above that score line. Line up the side edge there. Hold it in place. That's there, and then we are going to get our acetate number 7 piece that has score lines on 2 sides, and with that I'm going to make the stacked pocket. So page towel number 2 has a bit more acetate elements than page towel number 1. That is where I tried it out, and then on this page towel I just went crazy with it. So I'm placing my tape close to the cut edge. Once it's scored on the inside of the flap. It's hard to really determine a dented or a bumpy side on this. Turn it around and carefully fold back on that score line. So there we go. Then I get my Sharpie again. And I'm just going to determine how I want this. You can measure it, you can eyeball it. Just make sure you have enough, it goes deep down enough. I think I'm just going to eyeball this a little bit. I want to make sure it's straight, a little bit like that. Then I mark where my first page is, my first pocket is ending there, and there. and then we can make our cut. So again, I say again because I did this technique on page tile number 1 as well. I'm going to cut straight here on the 1/2 inch flap, and then from the bottom up I'm going to cut with an angle towards that Sharpie mark there. So we cut that out, and then I use my thumb to rub away that mark that I've made with the Sharpie, because of course I don't want that there. And then let's do the same thing here. And rubbing away the Sharpie hasn't filled on me yet, but almost. There we go. Okay, let's see if we did a good job, because we might have to recut it a little bit. We are going to shove it in the pocket now, and we should not be able to go any further than where we've cut. And I'm a little bit off. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm not completely straight. That means I have to cut it a little bit. I'm off to exaggerate it like that. So I need to cut it down there a little bit further. And I think I might need, well, yeah. I'm just eyeballing it because it's hard to say like it's 1/8 of an inch or. So we just cut it down a little bit further and see how it is now. Much better, much better. Could still do a little bit if I want to have it really nice and straight with no overhang. But not too much, because then we need to do the other side again. That's it. That's it. So it's a little less precise than with your score lines on the cardstock, but yeah, as you can see, totally able to do it. I'm removing the tape backing on both sides. Try not to stick it down to my work surface yet, to my cardstock yet. Line up the side there. Also, I think my fold might be not as clean as, it's not there completely where I want it. Let's see if I can save that a little bit. It's also because of the bulk underneath, makes it a little bit harder, but that's okay. Yeah, it's on there. Stack pocket. Yes, that worked as well. So this goes into the base page, but I'm going to leave it out for now, because first we are going to make our belly band on the back, and it's easier if this piece is not in there. So I'm going to turn it all the way around. We are looking at piece C, and we have 2 pieces of T with 1 score line tape on the dented side between the cut edge and your score line, and you have your acetate number 8 piece here. So again, I'm going to angle these pieces of cardstock, pieces T, and for that I've measured on both pieces. Score line is on your left hand side, and I've measured from the right hand side on the top 1¼ inwards. And you do that on both pieces, exactly the same thing. Then I am going to fold and burnish on the score lines. And I'm going to determine where I'm going to place this on my base page. I'm going to center it. What we want is 1½ from the cut edge. So I'm going to mark that. 1½ and 1½ from your gusset score line here on PC. So 1½, and that should fit in between there. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. So I'm going to place my first piece T there on the bottom. And in this case, because it's a belly band, I'm not tapering that ½ inch. Didn't quite burnish that tape there. Okay, normally I would do that on the top, but it's fine. So line it up on the bottom. And now we are going to attach our acetate. Now what we need to make sure of is when we've placed this and our other pieces going on the top, that we have enough overlap, that we don't have a gap. But this will be fine. So I have about 3/4 inch there, I think. Yeah. If we go about 3/4 inch here on the short side, we will be fine. So let me mark that quickly. I always like to mark everything, give myself a guideline, you know. So that would be like 2 inches from this side. Am I saying that correctly? I think I do. So that's my guideline on where I can place my tape. Again, I'm just using the 1/4 inch tape here. And I'm staying a little bit away from the pencil line. Okay, I'm going to place my page a little higher on my work surface. And I think I'm going to use my magnets again, just because I can. But if you don't have magnets, you could also use your bone folder. Maybe that's a little bit easier in this case, actually. Now just hold it in place. Get your piece of acetate or Duralar. And just follow your guidelines of the pencil line, but more important, the edge of your cardstock piece. And I think I will have a little bit of overhang there. And I will cut that away later on. Or do I need to cut that right now? I'm thinking, because once I've attached the belly band, I'm not going to reach that very easy. It's really, really tiny bit of overhang there. Let's see, can I get my small, it's not here. I think I can do it later on with my small cutting surface underneath the belly band. It's so small that I'm in doubt if I'm even going to try it. So in order to help me guide me a little bit, again I'm going to make my pencil marks here. So I know about where my belly band piece needs to go. So I'm measuring 1.5 inches from the edges. And it should go in between there, but again, more important to me is that it will line up with my piece there. So I will be away from that pencil mark a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is again measure how much do I have here. Again, about 3/4 of an inch, and that makes 2 inches on that side. So again, I'm just marking that and place my tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this tape on here for now, and I'm only going to place my 1/2 inch strip here on the page. So I'm going to make this lay flat. Make sure that I'm lined up here with my top edge and with my acetate. And again, take your time on these sort of things. Don't rush yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Where did I have that overhang actually? On this side. Okay, so let's try to keep that on one side. Okay, I'm lined up there. I'm sticking it down now. I'm happy. Okay. See, I'm not rushing. I'm taking my time. I'm checking everything. Now I will remove the tape backing here. And you know what? It's a handmade product, so if people want perfection, they have to go and get something store-bought. What I'm looking for is perfectly handmade. So I'm just folding it down, but again, I'm having my eye on my acetate as well, because you might have shifted a little bit. And there we go. Your belly band. So I'm placing my booklet part here in my pocket page. There we go. I need to place a magnet there. I didn't show you on the first page. I will show you on this one because I've used 3 magnets to keep it all secure with all the pattern paper, and you want to have all these layers in place. I found it was best to go with 3 magnets. Now there is something that I need to think about on this page here. If I'm placing a magnet here, then this slide element will be stuck with your magnet. So you have to really get that loose from your magnet before you can slide it, but I don't think that's a really big issue. But keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. So I'm going to use 1 minus, and I'm just going to eyeball where I want to have it. I just go a little bit in the center here, so I'm placing this on the back side of this element here. Just like that. Then I need 1 more minus and 1 more plus. And what I did is go to the booklet, drop it on there. I hope you can see it. I just drop it on there. Make sure your booklet is in a position where you want it. Then I peel this part off. So how you want it, center it maybe, but you don't have a lot of space on top and bottom. And I think I'm going to lift this up and push it. I don't want to push too much on the acetate. There we go, that is in place. And now we need 1 more And then we have to think about, I did that on this side with page tile number 1. I've placed it here. We can still do that, but we have to place it actually underneath the pocket, I think. So we can do that. It will drop in there and you will hide that. It's even behind the pocket in my case, but you will hide it with pattern paper, so that's fine. But the hard part is that we have to place the sticky side on first. So if I do it there, yeah, I think the layers are best evened out if we place it there. So just carefully lift up your pocket a little bit, and it will intend to fall on top of the other magnet, so that's in place. And then it will also hold on to the other one, if I'm correct. Does it do that? If it's in place, yes. If you shoved a little bit, no. Yep, it's all there. So that's what I did, and I'm going to use some tape to secure those magnets in place. Not much, just a little bit. Okay, let's see if we can get a piece of tape in here. And then one more, and I really think you need to do it with 3 because of all the layers, or you can use a larger one. It's also possible. So this will stay in place nicely. And for here I'm going to think of a closure that I'm going to use. That might be a pocket card with a magnet, or maybe some tags with string or ribbon. We'll see. I'll think of it when I'm decorating. So that's page tile number 2. So both page tiles are made. I have 4 pages now. I'm going to work on decorating them, and then our next step is to place them in the album and think of something for our inside covers. So that will be the next video probably. So for now, thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.